In Jerusalem, there is a tunnel that saved Jerusalem and the Jewish people over 2,700 years ago. Shalom, friends. My name is Akiva Gersh. Welcome to Israel in 5, where in 5 minutes we give you everything Israel. Please like and subscribe. And if you want to keep the conversation going, please do so below in the comments. So as I was saying, people love visiting Jerusalem, right? The modern city of Jerusalem has hundreds of thousands of people. It's Israel's capital. It's a powerful place. And of course, people love going to the old city, the original Jerusalem, right? They love the different quarters and the markets, and of course, the Western Wall and the Temple Mount, the religion, the history. There's a powerful and very meaningful experience that people have there. But what most people don't know is that the old city, right, what people call the old city today, that's not the original Jerusalem. The original Jerusalem is actually outside the walls of the old city, those walls being built around 500 years ago by the Turks, by the Ottomans, right? The original Jerusalem is something we call today City of David. It was called that back then as well. Ir David in Hebrew. City of David. It just lies south to the old city, very close to the entrance to the old city that takes people straight to the Western Wall. And today it's an archaeological park. People can visit there. For centuries and centuries and centuries, it was unknown. It was on a hill. It was under the ground. People had not yet excavated there, right? So only in recent decades have Israeli archaeologists excavated there and have revealed the original Jerusalem, what it looked like, and what it must have been what it must have been like to live there. So how does that connect to the tunnel? Because when you visit this beautiful, amazing, inspiring archaeological park, the City of David, you pass through all kinds of ruins and artifacts and history, incredible, inspiring things, but eventually you go all the way down, and you get to this tunnel. What was this tunnel? This tunnel was a water tunnel that was built by King Hezekiah in the 8th century BCE, at the time that the Assyrians were attacking Jerusalem. Now, the Assyrians had already laid devastation and waste to a lot of the cities and villages of Judea, of the land of Israel. Right? Remember, not too long before that, the 10 northern tribes were exiled, right, by the Assyrians. So now the Assyrians were coming to the south. They were coming for Judea. They were coming for Jerusalem. And Jerusalem, on some level, was one of the last strongholds. And they surrounded, the Assyrian army surrounded the city. And now King Hezekiah, he did two things. He did two things to help the city and those who lived there. He built another wall around the city, which would give protection to the refugees who had come to Jerusalem from the north, after what happened up there. And second is that he knew that he had to protect his water source, right? This water source of Jerusalem back then was a spring called the Gihon Spring, which is interesting because today the water company in Jerusalem is called Gihon, right? History comes back into modern day times. Anyway, he knew he needed to protect this water source. It was already well protected. There was a little mini fortress around it, just kind of adjacent to the walls of Jerusalem. He wanted to protect it even more. He wanted to bring the water source into the city. And that's what he did. He basically had his workers starting from two sides. They chiseled their way through underground, deep underground, and eventually met in the middle. And eventually the waters flowed from the spring into the city, into a pool where it was protected by the walls of the city. This tunnel you can walk through today. Many people do, many groups, many visitors, many tourists. It's exciting. It's dark. You put a flashlight on your head and you're walking through the waters, right? The spring is still alive. It's still flowing. And it's an amazing thing. You're literally walking through history, and you're literally walking through the story that we learn about in the Hebrew Bible. Right? It's a very powerful, again, and meaningful experience that many people have when they come to Jerusalem. And when you get out, you realize, wow, I just walked through a tunnel that literally, without it, who knows what would have been with Jerusalem? Who knows what would have been with the Jewish people? That tunnel literally saved Jerusalem and saved the Jewish people over 2,700 years ago. Because as we know the story, the Assyrians eventually fled. They did not attack. They did not take over Jerusalem in that time. And Jerusalem survived that battle, that attack, that siege. And again, pretty powerful to be able to walk through a tunnel and say that tunnel saved the Jewish people.